Bam. 4 as in 4th episode. This is it. You know what? You're on the clock. You're all on the clock. Robert, you're on the clock.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Ron Harlow. Next to me is my partner, Robert Kebs Keeler, and we're here to get you guys ready for draft day. It's here. It was yesterday for me. Meaning like before. So I've done 2 drafts.
Wow.
Yours are this weekend, right?
Yeah, I got some drafts coming up.
You got a plan?
My plan is to draft good players. No, I'm joking.
Right? You got to have a plan,
no,
but you have to be flexible too.
Absolutely got to have a plan. I've been kind of going through rankings. I have the first pick in my one league. I have the number 1 overall pick. So now I'll be picking 20, 21, 40, 41. Excuse me. So I've been looking at rankings and kind of going, well, number 1, I know who I'm getting. 20, 21, I kind of got a feel for those players.
Right.
40, 41, got kind of feel. So my first 5 picks, I've got a feel. I'm going to go running back, probably running back, wide receiver.
That's what I did.
Probably come back. It really depends if Waller gets taken in that second round coming back.
You might go on top of the
Before
third.
I go 20, 21. Waller's not there. Then I go probably another running back and receiver there, or 2 receivers.
Your anchor. The one that you got to have.
Right.
Once you got that anchor, which is,
right.
I would think, like Terry McLaren, Keenan Allen, or better, sort of. That's kind of the end of the road.
CeeDee Lamb. You got all those guys right in that range right there. So I've got a plan. I've thought it through a little bit. Got to have a plan.
You got to, folks. And again, that's why your mock draft, and I did 41 total. 41 I did. I did them in stretches.
That's a lot of mock draft.
I would do it while I was studying, though, and stuff. And I was writing. I did, I did them before my drafts and stuff. I might get one. I want to get in one more league. You know why? I want to add Mac Jones to my team somehow, believe it or not.
Wow.
I don't know. I thought it looked pretty good. It might be one of the steals of the draft. But
very interesting.
Let's talk about the opening segment today is called Opening Observations. We're going to talk about the week that was, what happened today, the cuts, some surprises, some not so many surprises. But obviously the big deal of the week end is we say goodnight to J.K. Dobbins for a year. I only watched it once when I did have it on record. I wouldn't watch it again because they had the opposite angle one, which showed it. So the first angle was not pretty. Yeah. The second angle. But the first angle, he looked so bad. But we're sorry for that. Let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. Play these games? Don't play these games. What do you think? Should we play them?
Every time somebody gets hurt, somebody comes, the debate rages. Should you be playing your starters? Should you be playing your stars in these exhibition games? But I think to really get them in game speed condition, they got to play.
I agree.
They got to play somewhat. I mean, you don't play them like, all the quarters, but you got to play some series so that everybody gets a feel for the offense, for the snap counts. I don't know how much you could simulate game simulation without playing a game.
That could have just easily happened in week 1 too.
You got to practice. How many guys Cam Akers got hurt in practice.
Right? Well,
right?
2 months ago, it seems like. Right, exactly.
Right.
So it happens. Kansas City played everybody pretty much all the time.
Yep.
And almost for at least a quarter. Even Kelsey, baby. I mean, still breaking records. I passed on him, though. I passed on him twice. I can't believe it. We'll talk about it. We'll get on to the bottom. Some surprises. Again, Rashard Perryman, we thought he was the number 1. Now he's number none. Off the team. Off the team. What's going on there? Boy, that team set themselves. It's them and Houston a race for the bottom. There's just no doubt about that.
No doubt.
They should just play each other every week in that inter-squad game so nobody gets hurt.
I bet Houston will be at least a double-digit underdog in almost every game they play.
Even the Bengals.
Yep.
Even the Bengals.
Yep.
What do you think? I mean, 2 games. I mean, is it a money grab? I'm watching games where I don't know even anybody on the field at all from the starting go. Some of these games, nobody.
Well, I think you're.
Why show it? I guess it's not very entertaining.
I think you're touching on it. When they used to play 14-game seasons, they used to have 6 exhibition games.
Yeah.
Well,
oh my.
Well, and back then they had to use these games to get people in condition because they came in, they were selling cars and smoking cigarettes.
That's true.
I gotta play again. I better get in shape.
You know what?
I
gotta throw this side note in because you led me to a thought. Like I'm thinking about when professions came to be, right?
Yep.
the professional football player, when did they say, wait, you want us to pay you money for that? Is that what you're saying? And now it's everything to everybody sometimes. It's crazy.
There was guys who said that they made more money selling cars and insurance than playing football.
Yeah, they were.
Right? Because they just didn't make the money. And then it evolved, the exhibition games, or what do they call them?
Preseason
Games evolved into, then they rolled them into the season ticket package.
Oh, yeah.
So you paid for 8 home games and then the 2 home exhibition games. So you paid for 10 games. So they made sure that you had to pay for those, because I remember people going, well, I got season tickets. You want the exhibition game tickets? And I'm like, no, thank you. I'm not going to that.
It's tough to go to. No doubt about it.
Real tough.
And then another one hurt in practice, right? Did Irv Smith get hurt in practice, or was that a game?
He got hurt in practice, but he's out.
Yeah, Meniscus out. So they added Chris Herndon, a favorite of ours from the past. From the
Ron
I thought
favorite.
He's never really gotten a chance to be Herndon yet, though. He's never been out there for even like 5 games in a row yet. He's always hurt.
Or suspended.
He was a bit of trouble. Yeah. I didn't know he was going to be a troublemaker when I decided to like him. I like the Jets.
I know.
I like Sam Darnold there too. Darnold has looked better by the way.
And that year he had the 700 yards and like 5-6 touchdowns. You were like,
see,
he's on his way.
It was him and Jamison Crowder took me to the final.
Then he was either speeding or DUI and the first 4 games and never got the season rolling.
Right on. How about this? More Devonte Williams love. Royce Freeman got waived. Ito Smith waived. Kiki Cutie to the Colts. Kiki Cutie, they grabbed him.
That's our guy.
Put him on their guy. About what is Houston going to have? They're going to have nothing. I know Brandon Cooks is a 5-time 1,000-yard receiver, guys, but he is not young.
I have that team. Well, we call them radioactive, and they're radioactive.
It's going to be a bad.
I don't think you want any part of that offense.
All right, more observations. After JK, guys, running backs are even more of a premium. Ooh. How about if you're a 12-team? I'm only in 10-team leagues. You know why? Because I can't stand waiting that long. 12-team, they got to be crushing. And I tell you right now, with losing JK, I say Lamar is going to have a monster season, Lamar Jackson, if he stays vertical. That's why you should get a good backup like I did. I got Tom Brady.
Well, we talked about the fact that Baltimore ran the ball over 400 times last year. You're taking out J.K. Dobbins. You know, you probably got Gus Edwards in for about 130, 140 rushes. You know, let's say Lamar's at 100 and the same amount, pretty much.
Probably.
There's some touches up for grabs there, and we got a player for you.
We got you, so stick around for that.
We're gonna have that guy.
Another undrafted gem.
I think you're right. Lamar Jackson's going to have they're going to have to lean on him. He's going to get leaned on.
I appreciate that because he stayed there very long. I was like I got 6'7" was I got 7 was the number 1 pick of the 7th round.
I think what Lamar Jackson there's his hangover. 2 years ago he set the record for most fantasy quarterback points ever, and then last year it came. You know, he couldn't live up to that 2 years in a row, and they kind of just call it a regression or letdown. Now people are like kind of down on him.
Yeah.
So you could get him at a better
post hype.
Post hype. You could get him at a better price, a better draft position, because people are like, he wasn't that good last year. Well, he was. He just wasn't as great as the year before.
Right, and we are afraid of those low receiving numbers. They're bad, but they have added somewhat. You know how I feel about Bateman. I've seen Bateman's some tape. I think he hasn't been there yet, and Sammy might be able to carry him till there. Marcus Brown should be bagging groceries.
They still have Mark Andrews, the tight end. So
yeah, and Andrews could have a little bit of a better season.
They're not devoid of receiving options.
I forgot to give you this question pre-show. I'm going to throw it at you right in the middle of the show.
Blow my mind.
I am.
All
Rookies. All right, another opening observation. We all know this is true. Rookies are going to make a more impact in fantasy this year than maybe any year ever, right?
Good possibility.
Give me your top 3 fantasy rookies for this year that you would want on your team. And I've got 3.
Well, I'd start with Pitts.
I got Pitts.
Pitts from Atlanta. I'm not going to be,
I got Pitts, number 1.
I like Chase from Philadelphia. I think he's got a chance to be the number 1 there. And I got... Wait.
Chase who?
Oh, Smith. Devonte
Smith.
Smith. Okay. Sorry, wrong guy. Chase is on Cincinnati. Sorry.
Stonehands. Don't
I like
take him.
Smith at Philadelphia, the way he's kind of coming along, and I probably like running back. I'd probably say the Pittsburgh running back at the most opportunity in the G.
All right. I have Pitts, Javonte, and Justin Fields. I'm going to talk about him when we get to our another top 10. He's creeped into my top 10 quarterbacks, and boy, do I got a good reason.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about this.
I do.
Top 10?
Yes, I do.
That's
He's a breakup.
That's a little itchy there.
All right, we'll talk. All right, another observation. Well, the Buffalo Bills looks like, again, we got stuff on things. They look like to have a treasure trove of good wide receivers this year. And I want to take a minute. Remind me I talk about him because we're not saying he's not getting drafted because the guy is getting drafted. Gabriel Davis is getting drafted, so I couldn't put him in here. I couldn't do it. The guy's coming on. I think he actually could cause Diggs to maybe a little bit. He could give up a few targets.
Yeah.
Certainly takes over the John Brown role. And Cole Beasley, dude, 83 catches. You have 83 catches last year.
Yeah, I don't think
700 yards.
Catches this year.
No, but he had 60 the previous 2 years, 60 plus.
I think last year Davis hadn't developed yet. It's quite obviously Josh Allen likes that slot receiver.
Yeah.
Right? The guy playing the middle. I mean, they got Emmanuel Sanders, they got Davis, they got Diggs, they got
Knox,
they got Beasley, and they're two running backs who are not too much of a threat. So
I like Gabe Davis, though.
I like Gabriel Davis. I mean, he's got draft capital with the team.
Yes.
So they're going to play him.
And he is
Cole
listed.
Beasley's one probably positive COVID test from probably not being around.
All right. I know he doesn't like Cole Beasley. I do. I think he's worth the roster spot. 83 catches. I'm not letting just lay out. I didn't get. All right. I'll say I did. He didn't get drafted in either one of my leagues, so I didn't take him. So I'm lying now, I guess. But I think he could be.
He's like a reliable guy, and
if you need 10, give me 10. You need 10, 12, 15.
Go as you're coming out of your draft. You're not like, ooh, the little slot receiver is going to get me 8 to 10 a week. I'm shooting for the sky.
Right, I hear you.
And then when you start to see injuries and you lose by 2 points when your receiver gets 4 points, you're like, well, maybe Cole Beasley doesn't look so bad now.
What? Please qualify that by saying CeeDee Lamb's not really a slot receiver.
No, he moves all around.
He's a lot bigger than any slot receiver I've ever seen. How can be so big?
Yeah, he's
big.
Big dude. I mean, Cole Beasley.
Okay.
You almost feel like you can find those guys on waivers.
All right, but again,
right?
please, put him on your watch list.
Put him on the watch list.
All right, how about this? Another observation.
Like Danny Amendola.
Dave, if you're watching, Denver's D is good. You only didn't give up one touchdown in the preseason. Now, that might not mean much, but that's
good.
That's pretty good. Deep. I mean, that's pretty deep not to give up a touchdown.
They're a good defense. They're going to be a top 5 defense that will be. I don't know if they're being drafted that way. I haven't analyzed.
I don't think they are.
How the defensive drafts have been going, but if they don't get drafted in a 10-team league, then there's something wrong. You should be drafting them. Somebody leaves them out there, and you got like the last 2 picks, and you pick your defense, and Denver's there.
Oh,
you take Denver.
Well, they're getting they get Von Miller back.
Oh yeah, they got Patrick Surtain's son,
right?
Who's going to be a great cornerback
and a great kick returner.
Kick returner to play up in the mile high. You got to go up there and deal with all that. I mean, they got a good defensive Vic Fangio. He was the coach with the Bears, and he's a good defensive coach. So,
all right,
they just got to get their offense together.
Another observe. Everybody's scared of Dak. Are you scared of Dak? And nobody wants Michael Gallup. Oops. Nobody wants Michael Gallup.
I'm not scared. Well, I mean,
he's way late.
The people who aren't taking Gallup are the same idiots who will take Godwin, Evans, and Brown. Right. They're like, there's enough footballs in that team, but not on the Cowboys.
I drafted Antonio Brown once. Well, but what do you think? I mean, the eighth round, I got that. Eighth round.
Not a bad value. But Gallup should be drafted in most leagues because.
Well, he is, but it's so late. I mean, he's going with.
Down in the third receiver.
Michael Williams, Marvin Jones, Mooney.
I think if Prescott has the season everybody expects with the health, they'll have enough for all 3 of those guys.
I'm looking forward to it. How about Carson Wentz? Can his guy get a break? He gets healthy, then he gets COVID.
I think it's a forebearer of what's going to come. I think
we're going to see. Be wary of the Colts. I'm aware. I don't want Jonathan Taylor.
I think they're a little snake bit. It just doesn't feel right to begin with. Number 1. 2, you're going to find all it takes is one quarterback to come into the quarterback room, and all the quarterbacks ain't playing that week.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Quarterback's coach is playing.
Think about why Cam Newton's not on the Patriots no more.
He's, you know what? Wait, you touched on a subject we've got to hit then.
We got to hit it.
Urban Meyer under investigation for exactly that. That came out just. This is breaking news.
Yep.
This came out just hours ago.
Yep.
Urban Meyer under investigation for breaking the collective bargaining agreement and admitting to saying that at the bottom of the barrel end of cut list that being vaccinated was a factor.
Yep.
So what? He's going to get penalized with draft picks. He's going to get trouble. Jacksonville can't catch a break anyway.
Well, they're bad,
but can you blame him? I mean, think about it. If you got a crappy guy that won't get vaccinated, that could take out the whole team.
Bill Belichick ain't stupid. You know,
right.
last time I checked, let me check the tape.
Yeah, I don't like him, but he is smart.
Let me check the yellow pad. Yep, Bill Belichick ain't stupid. I just checked it. If you think when he gets up at the podium and says, "Oh, the vaccination had nothing to do with it," a year.
Yeah,
I'll sell you some land.
Right on.
Right over to I don't know where.
Well, I will say this: Eason's not trash. He's not terrible.
No.
I think they like this Edlingberg better though.
I mean,
if you're looking around the Colts for something.
I mean, you're sitting there.
You got Pittman. You got guys you might want to take.
Right. I mean, Wentz is probably if he gets 2 negatives, he'll be back. He'll be able to play.
They say he'll be ready for week 1.
He'll be ready for week 1, but the Colts just seem.
How are they going to be ready?
They feel snake bitten, and I think they're going to struggle that first week. He can't have any continuity with the team, and T.Y. Hilton's out.
I'll tell you guys a little teaser for the opening week of wagers, because if you guys know, Robert and I each picked 3 teams. I'll be picking against teams that didn't play anybody, that had things like nobody, like didn't know the quarterback didn't play the whole time in preseason.
Yeah,
those are the guys that are going to at least start off that first week a little rusty, I think.
Yeah,
you're going to catch some guys. You're going to get some guys slipping.
I would agree.
All right, moving on. With the loss of hidden gem of mine, Xavier Jones, to Achilles injury, where they don't even want to keep him. They cut him. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. He was running all over the place preseason, wasn't he? He was doing everything.
He was becoming a darling.
And he's got cut. So Sony Michel has to be something. He can't be nothing on this team.
Yep.
It's only Jake Funk. He's a straight line, beefy runner. Yeah. He can do something. But
Sony Michel definitely needs to be
drafted. He has to be. Yeah, absolutely.
He went from non-drafted to drafted.
Absolutely.
Yep.
How about the last observation I have? Philly is Philly not sure on Jalen Hurts with the move? How could they be sold if they gave up guys to get the mustache? They're not sold on Jalen Hurts.
They are not. And we talked about this. I think they tried to, I wouldn't call it over-inflate him or throw things out there to make it seem like roses. Right, because they were
trying to move him around, maybe.
What I saw right before their first exhibition game, he was missing. We talked about that. He's missing open receivers. He doesn't look like he's developed from last year. He hasn't honed his skills, and I think they're a little worried that he won't be what they think he will be. And Philadelphia got aspirations, right? In that division, they got aspirations to be good.
Right.
Who they got? Dallas and Washington. Everybody got questions in that division. So I think they got the insurance policy if Hurts, struggles first couple of games.
Yeah.
You go to a veteran-type quarterback.
Well, what about Flacco? Just too old, baby.
Flacco's way too old. Remember, he was on the Jets last year. Good Lord.
Remember, he took him all the way to the Super Bowl, though. It's crazy.
Way
late in his career.
And then he signed a
unbelievable. Good for you. Flacco, baby.
5-year, $100 million contract.
God, people you knew that was a fluke, people. Anybody that knew that was a fluke is out of their minds. What'd you see this last week? What'd you see?
I had a couple of things. DJ Chark and Marvin Jones are saying they're going to be ready for week 1. Something to think about when you're drafting. Evan Ingram. Oh, wait. He's hurt again. I can't believe it. He might not play in game 1. No way.
Dang.
There's plenty more tight ends to draft. That's just like a name, and stay away from that guy.
Right on.
I like Chris Herndon. That's interesting with Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota's one of my teams. I had to have him.
I think we touched on everything. I think the Cam Newton thing is a major fantasy story because Mac Jones is going to get his opportunity. We've talked about, and everybody knows that the Patriots upgraded all the receiving core. They got Bourne, they got Aguilar, they got Jacoby Myers, they got Janu Smith.
N'Keal Harry just went on the IR.
N'Keal Harry's out of the way, but you think about some of them names, and Mac Jones got the opportunity to excel little bit there. And
he looks ready.
He's
got that quarterback size look. Like Peyton Manning, I'm ready to play.
He's got the size. He's got in the preseason, what has he shown? Accuracy. He's been very accurate, and he hasn't turned the ball over, which, Belichick's like, yay.
So you said let's talk about my draft and your draft. You said you got the first pick then?
I got one draft, I got the first pick. And then on my other draft, I got the 7th pick, but I got to take 2 quarterbacks with my first 2 picks.
Anyway,
we'll forget about that.
So you're gonna take the man.
I got to take McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'm too. All right, we'll ride him.
I can't justify any other number 1 pick unless I took Hill or Devonte Adams.
Right, I hear you. All right, on the back end, Ridley and JJ just went right in front of me. Boom, boom. Ugh. I could have taken Keenan Allen. I ended up. I had him in the queue and out of the queue. I go with Joe Mixon again. He'll be a guy I think getting drafted too early, but if he's getting drafted ahead of Gibson, I think you got a problem. I'll tell you that. And Eckler and guys like that. I think Mixon's the guy, but I think Mixon is a 3rd rounder, not a 2nd rounder. I'll say that. So, and then I had a choice between Keenan, A.J. Brown, and who I took. I took Terry McLaurin just for the upside.
Because you love Terry
I do, but he got 1,000 with nobody. Now he's got Fitz.
I mean,
he got 1,000 yards with nobody. Could he get to 12, 13?
I mean, he can. I mean, it depends what kind of games that Washington gets involved with.
Right. They got a tough defense in their division.
Ron Rivera's a little conservative, but I think it depends what kind of games you get into if they're tossing the ball. I think McLaren gets 80 and 1,100 without blinking. But the question is, you can get that 1,300, 1,400. Is he going to hit double-digit touchdowns? That all depends on game script, I think. But, I mean, has he got the talent? Yes.
Right on. All right. And
I don't think you go wrong with any of those picks you were talking about, Keenan Allen and A.J.
At 6 and 7 when I took Lamar, and I took T.J. Hushman's not good, actually. T.J. Hawkinson was there. Mm-hmm. Pitts went in like the 3rd in that draft. I got Pitts in the 6th and the one before, a week before. I got Pitts in the 6th round a week before.
He's going high. I mean, the hype, that train is
long
the hype
gone.
Train has left the station and is careening out of control.
Josh Allen was a 3rd rounder.
You ever seen the movie Runaway Train with
yeah,
that was an awesome movie.
Absolutely.
With Eric Roberts and what's his face?
You're crushing me. Can't remember.
He's Andrew Jolie's dad.
John Voight.
With the scar, and he's all
no
like,
H.
Yeah. That was an awesome movie. But that's sort of like that hype train. They can't stop it. They kept trying to stop that train, and it could not be stopped. So.
Do you want to know where Gus went? Gus was the last pick of the 5th. Gus Edwards. I mean, people are wanting to know where he's going. Was the last pick of the 5th. In the draft that he was the guy. Yeah. I got in both. A.J. Dillon. Both times I took A.J. Dillon. Jamal Williams went next. Pissed me off because I was going to take him on the next. Corey Davis. Both as my 4s, and Marquise Callaway's my 5 on both.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yes, and I got some of his guys. I got CeeDee Lamb in one. I got Brian Edwards in one. I got some of my guys. I got Terrace Marshall Jr.
My friend, good friend Bill. Who
hope you're watching, Bill.
I don't know if he's listening. He's taking care of his mother-in-law.
Well, we hope she gets better.
He's a good boy. I hope she's getting better, too. He was talking that he's on a 14-team league.
Well, that's tough. I did it for 20 years. I did it for 20 years. So, you missed one of your first 2, forget it. Your league's done.
He's in this deep league, and it's long time between picks.
Oh, an hours. And 8-hour days.
And you're really going deep on rosters. He goes, and this is hopefully a good advertisement for the show. He goes, I was sitting there and I needed a receiver, and I'm like, where did I hear this guy's name before? I heard somebody talking about him. And he's like, I heard on your show, Donald Peoples-Jones.
DPJ.
So he took him.
Good
and
for
he's
you.
got him on the team, and I said, that's awesome.
He's gonna be something, dude.
He's gonna be something.
He didn't go in either one of my drafts, but I think he is gonna be something. You know why? Because OBJ stinks, and he's gonna get hurt anyway.
He said he's not even ready to really start the season. He's not in condition.
He's chomping, dude. Donnie Peeps Jones is chomping at the bit. He sees an opening, right? They said he can play. OC says he can play in all 3 spots.
Right. Exactly.
And that he's been running with the first team ahead of Higgins the whole way.
He's definitely going to play in the 3 receiver sets right off the bat, which you like to hear. Mayfield had a pretty good year last year.
Now I'm hoping he has a bad week 1 so I can pick DPJ up somehow.
Nice.
I want to.
I like that.
He's got a great name.
I like it.
Donnie Peeps Jones.
And I like that somebody referred back to the show to help them with their draft.
You got to do it. They could be a good last pick, but a good last round pick.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, those. So it's dice roll. You don't know, half of those guys aren't going to pan out.
And you know what?
You got to try.
Even you would agree that Mayfield's gotten a little bit better at being a quarterback.
I gave him 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I gave him the business.
He's gotten a little bit better
and he's definitely developed. I mean, they got Stansky, the OC from Minnesota, who became the head coach. They remember to get rid of that boob who was running around. He didn't know what he was doing. And that guy's a good coach. He got Mayfield and got them together. I mean, you could see it. I mean, and you talk about talent on the roster. They got a good team.
There they do. Good defense.
Good defense.
Good kicker.
Yep.
Rock and roll. All right, you done with the observations? Ready to move on? Next segment? Yeah. All right. This is a really good segment.
We covered everything.
All right, players not being drafted that should. We talked about this a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But some of these things have changed just in the last few days. But some of these guys have been on our list the whole way. Yeah. And we both have the same guy, number 1.
I tried to add guys that we hadn't been talking about yet.
Absolutely.
So I tried to add some new names. But go ahead.
Oh, I wrote down Ron on that last name. Well, let's talk about him together. Tyson Williams is his name.
This is our guy. Definitely on my list.
He's probably going to be the number 1 waiver if nobody really blows up, is my opinion. Because he's going to get some run.
He should be drafted.
Well, right. Again, I'm done. So I'm done into. So
I get it.
He's going to get drafted.
A lot of people won't react to the Dobbins thing yet.
Right. The guy that had him in a draft didn't draft. He had 3 days to know because there was a certain amount of time he could still make moves, which I made 2 moves, by the way. I've already drafted and made 2 moves.
I'm ready to go.
I'm ready. I'm a move maker.
Mr. Waiver.
The only thing I hate is the guys on my own team. I always want those other guys. This guy's a bum. They ain't even played yet. I am that way. All right, Tyson Williams, undrafted, shifty, and tearing it up in the preseason.
Okay. So what do we got on Tyson Williams?
6 foot, 220.
Tape. All right. 6 foot, 222 out of BYU. He obviously played at BYU. He transferred around to a bunch of colleges. I think he was at Oklahoma. Then he went somewhere else. Then he wasn't playing, so then he went to BYU. So he was a 4-year senior. He redshirted so he could play his senior year at BYU. He tore his ACL the first month of that 2020 season. So a lot of teams didn't want to draft him because they were like, well, we don't, he's coming off the ACL. He didn't play his whole senior year. So he got undrafted. Baltimore picked him up. Now, he's been doing well in the preseason. 24 carries, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. And you always like when John Harbaugh talks him up and says he's leapfrogged Justice Hill for the number 2 spot behind Gus Edwards.
Which, on a team that runs the ball how many times?
Over 500 times last year.
500 rushing.
They average almost 40 carries a game.
He's getting triple digits just by showing up as number 2.
He's going to get 10 to 12 touches by just putting his helmet on.
And Gus is not a pass catcher.
And he's
That's
not
the thing
a
that
pass catcher.
They're not going to be interchangeable here. Now, I like Gus in the 5th. Actually, I'll take him there.
But I mean, this guy's
he's more of a Damian Harris, though.
I think you saw that. I think it was a 59-yard run he had, or 50-yard run he had in the preseason. He made a cut and went right up the middle. He fits their blocking scheme and how they like to block and how he runs. He's kind of like Gus Edwards with a little bit more shiftiness, but he's a big guy. And
I got even deep. I got something even deeper.
That's a really good pickup and a really good guy. If you get going into drafts, hopefully nobody's listening in my league.
If you draft Gus, you better get that guy.
Yes,
for sure. How about this? Even deeper. We cover it all. I watched the Baltimore preseason game. No. I watched NFL Total Access. They had a lineman, had to be big guy. I didn't even catch his name. His previous first season in the NFL, he lived in a trailer. He was not rich. Maybe you know this guy.
Yeah.
There was some bit of story. When he talked about Baltimore, they asked about J.K., right? Yeah. When he talked about who's coming back, he spoke about Tyson with Gus together.
Yep.
As we're going to be fine kind of thing. And like you said, Justice Hill, he's been around Justice Hill's been around more than all those guys. If he was going to make it, he would have done it by now. So
Right.
people that drafted, I've got Justice Hill, then I'm going to have the guy. You know that people drafted him because
smaller back.
I'm not saying he's terrible, but I don't think he's going to be fantasy relevant.
He's a smaller back. He doesn't run the power game they like to run. I mean, he's not a clone of Dobbins. This guy's sort of a clone of Dobbins.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
I mean,
he could maybe be number one. I hate to say it because Gus is limited. Gus is limited in what he can do.
I mean,
he
Gus,
does it well. 6 yards a carry or whatever.
I had Gus. Hold on. Gus Edwards. I mean, his carries the last 3 years: 137, 133, 144, yardage 718, 711, 723, touchdowns 226. He's not really a goal line back. I mean, he's that kind of work between the 20s. They're not going to. I mean, I average that out. That's about 8-9 carries a game. They're never going to give the ball 20 times to Gus Edwards.
They're never going to.
Never going to.
Just know that.
So somebody else got to get the ball on that team, and
we think it's Tyson Williams
going to be the guy.
I agree. Why would I write that? Don't even look at what I wrote down, by the way. All right, my next guy is a real deep cut that didn't get drafted Well, he got drafted in my last league, and then I went and picked him up in my one league because I have Chris Carson, and his name is Alex Collins.
Here we go.
Been around since 2016.
Yes.
The blurb that I read said that Rashard Penny, Seattle's having a tough time, getting past his poor plotting ways. He did make the cut, I guess.
I mean, he blew out I think he tore his ACL, so he's probably never gotten the speed back.
Right.
You remember when they used to like to run that pitch out to him and let him go around the edge? I don't think he has that speed anymore, so Alex Collins could be the guy.
Yeah, and Chris Carson's I dropped Darrell 1L. I call him Darrell 1L Williams because he got 1L.
Yeah,
I like him a lot, but I needed Alex Collins on my team.
Alex Collins, I think he used to play in Baltimore too.
Yes, that is correct.
Yep, he used to run around with Baltimore, and he was kind of that backup to Mark Ingram and all that. And
again, last round, no one's going to be taking him. What do you got to lose? All right, let's get to the quarterbacks. Now, I got opposing you. Put them in what order you want them. We got the new guys, again, that aren't getting drafted. I have seen it in 2 leagues. Obviously, Mac Jones is going to start getting drafted. Mac Jones and Wilson and Fitz and Bridgewater. I think all 4 of those teams, quarterbacks, should be drafted on teams. If you've got Tua, if you've got, let's think who else. Matt Ryan even.
I think there's a lot of leagues now. You're starting 2 quarterbacks.
Right.
So you already got
to
think the first 20, 22, 20, what would be 20 or 24 quarterbacks. So, and like we're talking about backups. Now, I saw rankings that still had Mac Jones in like about 30.
Even after the cut?
Even after the cut. I think he's not going to be prolifically aerial with Bill Belichick. But you tell him, what you know today, Mac Jones.
What we saw.
Would you take Jared Goff in Detroit, or would you take Mac Jones?
Mac Jones.
Of course. Would you take Bridgewater or Mac Jones? That could be.
I like Bridgewater
That could
a lot.
But you could debate
I'm one of the
that.
weird. I have a weird.
You could debate that, right?
Dave knows I have a weird. My friend Watson.
And right now,
I have a weird affection
with
for
all the
Teddy
weirdness and all the craziness, why I took Carson Wentz and Mac Jones, I'd think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Wentz got the name and the pedigree, but
I would take Mac Jones.
I like the youth of Mac Jones.
Wentz didn't get drafted.
I think he's going to move up in drafts coming up to this weekend. I think people are going to realize that some of these quarterbacks are a little overrated, that they're ranking ahead of them. Like Jared Goff. Would you take Jared Goff before Mac Jones? The answer is no. He was horrible last year. He threw for 20 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, he had some sort of stat number where he literally was a minus per attempt in yardage, like the first quarterback ever to finish.
And his personnel is not getting any better with
yards
Detroit,
per attempt or something.
But I think there's a lot of you got to be careful with rankings. What do you got to be careful of? Reputation, names that people know. Oh, I remember when Goff went to the Super Bowl, so I better rank him higher. No, he's on a terrible team. He's terrible. So Mac Jones. I'm with you. Mac Jones should be moving up. Who was that against you?
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson should be moving up.
And then we got Ryan Fitz, who I took with my last pick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think people are underrating him, too, because there's this whole narrative that Ron Rivera won't let him throw the ball, and he's all defensive oriented.
No way. He was looking down the field whenever he was out there.
You got to let Fitzgerald let it fly a little bit.
Right, and Teddy Bridgewater. Again,
What kind of weapon?
How about again? He's going from 3 good ones to another three good ones. Right, he's going to Judy. God, I can't believe I didn't get Jerry. Everybody's talking about Jerry Judy now. I didn't get him. They're calling Cortland Sutton again. I get too hype, and Noah Fant gets back. I mean, the Handler guy's good. The Patrick guy is good.
They got solid running backs, not slouches by each.
Was he third in completion percentage? And I think Derek Carr's number 1, but I still would rather have Teddy Bridgewater than Derek Carr.
You gotta like Derek. I mean, they got Bridgewater. I saw Bridgewater and ranked 29th. That tells me that in a 2-quarterback league you don't have him as a starter. 1-quarterback league he's not even a backup. I think that's with the weapons he's got to be top 20-ish.
Right on.
Right?
I had something to say about DPJ, Donnie Peeps Jones, but we'll just tell you that he's 6'2", but he is on the thinner side. But we told you about all that. How about someone who better start getting drafted now that he's the number 1 wide receiver? Amon-Ra St. Brown. Brett Perryman signed a 1-year deal and didn't make the team. How is that possible? How could you be bad enough not to make the Lions? I should call him.
I don't even know.
You got his number? Sorry, Bashard, man.
I don't know where to begin.
Come hang out. I'll have a cocktail with you.
They got what? Tyrell Williams,
it's not Tyrell Williams. He's way skinny. He's a scat. They're gonna tell Tyrell Williams just run that way as fast as you can. So it's got to be this guy, right?
I think
he's got to be. He may actually outperform some of the young wide receivers because they got to know about it.
Just because of opportunity, he'll probably be the number 2. He'll get some volume.
You got any tail of tape on them? I didn't write it.
I did not have any tail of tape on him. Boo.
I could look at the.
I don't have his stats.
His eye test look good.
But I mean, he's gonna be more of an opportunist, right? He's gonna get his opportunity. So I don't have his stats.
I got a funny one that I
don't have my mail.
I got a funny blurb I read today. Maybe not even a last round pick, but I think Brian Edwards again. My buddy Brian took Ruggs and says he's the guy.
No,
it's going to be Brian Edwards. You know what the blurb said? It said perennial preseason darling. This is Brian Edwards' 2nd season. How can it be a perennial preseason darling? Right, when he came into the season hurt.
I read out of the blurb. Why are we reading so much about him? But I read somebody wrote it irresponsibly compared to Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson, and Devonte Adams.
Okay, well.
Because Derek Carr played with Devonte Adams in college, and he says he reminds me of Devonte Adams.
He's making great plays. He's making great cuts. Ruggs is going to be the guy that says he run fast.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the volume guy with Waller.
Right. Running with the first team most of the camp over John Brown, over Smokey.
John Brown, adios amigo.
Did he get cut?
He got cut.
Okay, there you go.
He said he don't have his legs. He can't run anymore. I don't even know if he'll get picked up. They said he just don't have speed anymore. Speed was his game, and he got waived. He's gone.
All right, how about my fantasy guy on the fantasy show, Adam Rank, said one thing, and you said another about this guy. The next 2 guys.
I'm all right.
I'm sure you are. He only got drafted in one of my leagues, and he got drafted in the older one. And I'm talking about Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh yes.
From New England running backs.
He's still
getting drafted.
I still have him on my list. He should be getting drafted.
Here's the thing. Do you want Ramondre Stevenson's 5 preseason touchdowns or J.J. Taylor's 11 touches for 90 yards and 2 catches?
We talked about it. J.J. Taylor's 5'6", 170.
So he's going to be the new James
White. No way.
They want to do the new James White then.
He's going to back up James White, who's on the team.
All right. So it's not J.J. Taylor.
It's not going to be J.J. Taylor. This guy's 6'0". 6'0" for you people out there. 227. We talked about Oklahoma. He averaged 7.2 yards per carry in the preseason, 5 touchdowns. You're telling me he's not going to have a role? He's going to have a role.
He's five preseason touchdowns.
He's going to have a role. They're not like in love with Damian Harris. They're not he's the greatest thing ever.
He went in the 3rd round. In one
of no.
They're giving me money. They're just giving me money. Some of these teams. I'm telling you.
That's a boo.
He thought maybe Sony Michel's gone. Again, Damian Harris moves up a little bit, but
if I'm picking my 4, how many running backs you got on your team?
6 or 8. 6 to 8.
You got 6 to 8 running backs on your team?
I have 8 on both this year. 20 rounds.
Okay.
20 rounds.
You're telling me he can't be the 6th or 8th running back on your team?
I have,
absolutely.
Yeah. He sure should be.
He should be. Damian Harris has 1 injury, which he has an injury.
Yeah.
1 fumble.
Oh, he gets trouble. Out.
Stevenson's in.
All right, I got some honorable mentions just to throw out if you want to talk
Sure.
about it. Sterling Shepard, 4 for 6, 50 yards. Again, he could. I only say it because he could be the only healthy wideout out there and Saquon ain't gonna play. Ingram got hurt during the game. Oh, surprise!
You are correct.
And Galladay's not it.
You're correct.
Slayton dropped the pass.
Correct.
So Sterling Shepard might be a week one.
I can't argue with your logic.
Dailies, I'm gonna play Sterling Shepard in a daily because he's gonna be the guy.
I cannot argue with this logic.
Thank you.
But
for a roster
I
more than
highly
1 week.
recommend.
Don't forget, I get 20
no other
rounds.
Giants.
All right.
None.
Wait, I got one more. I have. You have one too. You want one?
Where do I have a Giant?
You want Devonte Booker? I have him in one.
Yeah,
he's gonna get out there.
Should he be drafted?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's my last running back in
he
one league.
should be drafted.
Should I have Devonte or Ramondre Stevenson? See, that's what I had a difference before. I love when you do that. I love when they make him sigh super loud.
That's a tough one.
Think about it.
Because Booker's going to be the early back. Stevenson's going to be the later back. Right? We know that. Dude, I don't plan on Stevenson coming out the first week like, oh, look at me.
Right.
But Booker may because Barkley might not be
Is
ready.
hurt. Right. But we're back to now and later then, maybe.
Now and later, but I mean, Booker absolutely should be drafted, of course. Maybe I take Booker before Stevenson because he got a carved out role immediately.
All right, I got another two.
I still like Stevenson.
I got a 2-pack, and one of these guys, man, I can't believe. I really like Boston Scott. I think he's a tremendous player. He does stuff. But now we got this Kenneth Gainwell, rookie. He had a great preseason as well. Miles Sanders, he will never be on a team of mine ever again. I'll tell you that. I had him 2 years.
He'll never be the
2 years.
He'll never be the workhorse.
He's never had 200 touches. Boston Scott, did you see a touchdown? That nice dive in, and then he looked good, man. And Kenneth Gainwell looked good. Again, maybe watch list guy. Again, we're talking watch list guys. If something happens,
absolutely. Right. I mean, with Scott, he wasn't on a team. They weren't going to re-sign him, and then they drafted
Kenneth Gainwell.
And then they said, well, we can't really depend on the rookie to be. So they re-signed Scott for 1 year. The offensive coordinator likes him.
I like him.
So, I mean, that team, like you said, Sanders never going to be the workhorse. Everybody drafts him as a workhorse running back is sorely disappointed.
He's more like a 3 because he's
a 3 with the touches he gets.
Right, and because he's going to break. He's looking for that long break off, that 50-yarder.
Another guy.
He had 2 70-yard touchdown runs.
He did. He had the long breakouts, but he's always getting that tweak injury where you're like, he's questionable.
Yeah,
he's questionable. It's not enough where you're like, ooh, should I play him or not? He's never just freaking out. He's always questionable, and I'm with you. Miles Sanders will never be on the team.
Nope.
I think Boston Scott's. I think these are the kind of guys you watch that first week. Who's getting that secondary touches behind Sanders? Is it going to be Scott or the rookie? And then maybe you make your move.
Gotcha.
Right.
I want to mention this guy only because Kiki Cutie got cut, which was a surprise. But the guy, he's a rookie. He hasn't been hurt, got a pulled muscle. They won't tell us what muscle's pulled, by the way. It just says muscle pull. I looked everywhere. It just says muscle pull. I'm talking about 6'4", 250-pound Nico Collins. He's the only guy on Houston that we talked about him and Quadre Allison. We've been talking about for more than a month now. Who? Yeah, Quadre Allison. He's going to be a factor sometime down the road.
Yeah.
I think, again, if you're looking for a watch list guy, Brendan Cook's not all that strong as health-wise. He did have a good second half. Brendan Cooks is a good player, but Nico's at least the number 2. There's no doubt about it. He is the number 2 wide receiver. Nobody's there.
And if you know one thing, Houston's going to be
throwing the ball
in the third and fourth quarter. They're going to be losing.
All right, a real deep cut that I would have put with Xavier Jones, but I want to mention his name because I'm thinking about adding him if I can. His name's Kylin, Kylin, Kylin Hill from Green Bay. He got a lot of run in the preseason. He's more shaped like Aaron Jones than A.J. Dillon. There's not a lot of folks in there that are shaped like A.J. Dillon.
No, they're not.
But he's definitely the number 3, and I think if something would happen to Aaron Jones, he could have a chance to be the Aaron Jones factor in there.
Or at least he would be the half and half with Dillon.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, that's somebody to keep on the watch list.
Yeah, watch list. And how about this guy? No, not drafted. He really carved out. Again, he had 60 catches or something. Dennis Schultz over Blake Jarwin. Yeah, that team didn't even have a quarterback for half the season. And Dennis Schultz showed up and took the spot.
Blake Jarwin got hurt like the game 1, I believe. So yeah, he played all the year. I don't think you draft either one of those guys.
Right?
Because I think there'll be too much split But somebody to keep an eye on, obviously.
If one gets hurt, I mean, it could be that the Higbee Everett,
could be like an
Everett problem.
Everett situation.
Are you speaking of combos that might? You're Jonnu Smith over Hunter Henry though, right?
Oh,
yes?
absolutely. I mean, Hunter Henry still got the shoulder thing and probably linger all year, and he's not dependable.
You know, we got a good time spot right here. I think we're going to take our commercial break right here. Why don't we do that?
Then I'll tell you about a couple more players you should be drafting.
Oh wait, let's finish the segment.
Okay.
I didn't know where we're done.
Let me roll into a couple of guys.
Wait, I get my pen ready because I might draft.
Start writing this down, Ron.
I like to learn from you, Robert. You know
I
this.
hope so. Well, a guy like me who's got the number 1 pick in the draft and is going to take Christian McCaffrey should know who his backup is.
I have him.
Chubba Hubbard.
Chuba.
I call him Chubba.
Chuba.
He's from Oklahoma State. 6'0", 201. He had a 59-yard run in the preseason. In 2020, he had 2,094 yards and 21 touchdowns. In 2020, but then in 2021, he got kind of banged up. Wait, that's not right. In 2019, he had over 2,000 yards in college. 2020, he got banged up. So he was going to be, they said, a second-round pick. But because he was banged up his last year in college, he dropped into the 4th in the 21 draft. Carolina picked him up. They got rid of some of the riffraff they had last year. Well, they let Mike Davis go. They said Cannon is in the long-term backup for McCaffrey. This guy's the direct backup for McCaffrey. So if you draft McCaffrey, somebody to really think about handcuffing to that number 1 pick is Mr. Hubbard.
I took him in the 13th round.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, why not? At that
I
point,
said I had to have him. The other ones were going.
The dice rolls on running backs.
Booker was going. Matson was going. Pollard was going. Right? Those guys were going right
I would take this guy over Matson and Pollard. Right?
Yeah.
You could bet he's definitely a direct backup behind McCaffrey. And then another guy who's kind of snuck into the narrative the last couple weeks. Man who plays in New Orleans, Tony Jones Jr. Have you talked about Tony Jones Jr.?
I have not.
Well, he, 4-year letterman at Notre Dame, he was undrafted free agent. When the Saints picked him up, 5'11", 224, big guy, got size. Now, the thought was this guy had a really good preseason. I mean, he's looked good, and Sean Payton's talking him up, which you like. There was talk that Latavius Murray would get cut. And this guy would be the number 2 behind Kamara. They did not cut Murray. However, Sean Payton says he would like him to be his number 2 running back. And that he's going to get playing time. So you talk about a guy to put on a watch list or take in a deep league. Tony Jones Jr. has probably got Latavius Murray's 30 years old. Played in 15 games last year, had 145 carries.
Didn't do that well with him either.
Yeah.
Really
You're talking about 8, 9, 10 carries behind Kamara. I mean, Tony Jones, they could have kept Murray just as a kind of a safety net for the rookie. But Tony Jones Jr., Sean Payton's talking him up as a weapon. And he could definitely, if he takes over that number 2 spot behind Kamara, you could have like the pot of gold at the end of the draft.
Remember that for a while there was all 3 of those running backs were doing good.
Yeah. Remember when they had Ingram and Murray and they had Kamara?
Kamara's first as a
Ingram's
rookie.
been everywhere. I mean, but
and he's never
and
really been a lead guy.
They had Adrian Peterson too there for a hot minute.
Right.
Remember that?
That's when people dropped Kamara and I picked him up and he won me in the league.
Right.
I know
that was pretty dumb.
The guy that played that did that, he quit fantasy. He quit. He's never played since then.
It scarred him so deeply.
He's scarred for life that I got Kamara for nothing. For nothing. Zero.
All right. But, I mean, talk about a guy to take late in the draft. Sean Payton's talking this guy up. He's talking about he will be the number 2 running back. He would like him to be the number 2. What does that mean? I don't know what it means.
It means good things.
It means good things. And this guy, you're talking about a player who we talk about pedigree. He played at Notre Dame for 4 years.
That's got to be something.
So that's something. So keep this guy in mind. Just the last couple, like last week, there was real talk that Murray would get cut. So think about that. How much they like this guy. So
and Murray definitely got cut. Is that it?
No, he didn't get cut. But they're definitely going to try and push him aside. So
right on.
I like it.
And you know
some of the other guys we talked about,
right on.
we already covered it. Please don't forget MVS.
MVS. Oh my God! One more time.
Don't forget.
He's one of my transactions. Listen,
Oh my
Robert
God.
talked me in. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, not even listed as a starter. What we think is Randall Cobb's not going to be able to hold up his spot, right?
Yes, people have just gotten too scarred by this man because he's got hype. He's like talk about poster child for post hype, right? This guy's been hyped, and we've all been like, oh no.
What was it?
No.
I looked at it. Well, he had like 690 yards on 33 catches.
Right.
That's
he averaged
all.
like 20-some yards per catch. I mean, they're talking about his consistency. They expect him to be the second most targeted wide receiver for the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. Why wouldn't you draft him? I mean, he should be drafted. I'm not saying take him in the third round. That's not what I said. But
he's not getting drafted. He's not getting drafted.
He should be drafted.
I picked him up after the draft, and he didn't get drafted in the other draft.
He will be drafted in my leagues. So I have vowed.
How are you going to get him and DP? How are you going to get down?
I'm going to do it all.
You're gonna, you know what you should do then? If you're gonna do this, take like 6 running backs to start. Just take them. You get Devonte in the 4th round or whatever. Just take them. I'm telling you, if I do another draft, I'm doing that because I like. That would be nice. I'm taking. I get my anchor. Then I'll let Marvin Jones and these guys be my Marcus Callaway be number 2. I don't care. I don't care.
I mean, you're talking about,
draft one more team and just go running back.
Unless you get the guy like Tyreek Hill was such a difference maker last year.
He was
17, 19 touchdowns. That's where it takes it to a different level. But you get a guy who's going to catch 80 balls for 1,100 yards and
they're all the same.
7 touchdowns. You go like this.
Same.
You talking about? I like the Pittsburgh receivers. I like them.
I do too.
But they're all kind of interchangeable. There's 3 of them. None of them are going to have 1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns. They're all sort of interchangeable. But they're getting drafted because of the name, and their name recognition is Pittsburgh, and everybody's excited. But there's not a huge difference between these running backs. I mean, these receivers, but there is a big difference with the running backs. Absolutely. That's why everybody's like those anchor running backs first couple rounds. Hit the running backs hard because you're not going to get anything at the back end.
Right. That's.
The guys we talk about are all going to be gambles. Of course they
are. I had the first pick. I got Mixon again on the back end, and then believe it or not, I had James Robinson was there in the first pick of the first pick of the 5th round.
Wow.
I was surprised too. Gus was there too.
That's surprising.
I know too, but then I was go Gus too, but I took Adam Thielen over Julio Jones and over. That was about it.
I like Thielen over now with Irv Smith out of the way.
Right, I do too.
I think you could jump up JJ and Thielen a little bit.
I agree. I told my buddy.
They're really going to get volume.
Back to Tyreek. Again, we watch these shows and they get 4 panels of geniuses.
Oh, yeah.
They went through their mock draft, Robert. You know who the 19th pick of their mock draft was? Tyreek Hill.
19th?
19.
I hope I ain't playing that league.
I didn't mock draft where he didn't go in the first round. At least the back-to-back, right? At least the back-to-back.
He's got to be.
That's the TV guys. Who are you going to believe? You watching those guys?
He's got to be a top 2 or 3 receiver. I mean, how do you not take him at the very worst, maybe the 13th?
One guy complained about it. But that means guys like Ridley and A.J. Brown went ahead of him. Yeah, that seems crazy. I'm not that crazy. Did you see the?
You're playing with the Hall of Fame and the whole.
Did you see the last preseason game he played?
Yes.
He goes, you run. Mahomes threw the ball. Tyreek and the guy were dead nuts even. Tyreek goes, all right, I'm just gonna go now. I'm gonna start running now. He told the guy. He goes, I'm gonna start running now because I was just jogging. Boom, gone. Okay, sit down. We'll see you week 1. All right, that's insane. 19. Get me in these leagues. I would smoke these guys. These people
are nuts.
All right, we're right at it. Perfect timing for a break, yes, sir.
Yeah, great.
I can use a breather. Okay, here's we're welcoming back at a new space. Loan Depot, our mortgage loan lender, expert, consultant, Christine Reiser. Let's start with her. Nice. Behind the lines. We'll be right back with more. Ask a question. Put it on the board. You can do it now or later. If you watch this later, we will be back and answer the questions. All right, here we go. Christine Reiser.
Face it, when it comes to buying a home, you want a local mortgage lender who has the answers when you need them. In this fast-paced housing market, when is now? and your lender is Christine Reiser from Loan Depot. Her years of well-rounded experience, including time as a realtor, will put your stress to rest. Call Christine Reiser at 219-789-8313. Christine is available days, nights, and weekends to take you from pre-approval to loan closing. For a conventional mortgage, FHA, VA, USDA, or if you need help with down payment assistance programs, she's got you covered. Dial 219-789-8313 if you're looking to buy a home in Indiana, Illinois, or Arizona. Let Christine Reiser and Loan Depot be your guide. NMLS number 1447958.
Since 1964, Springer Realty has been helping homeowners save thousands when buying or selling their home. Springer Realty is locally owned, provides full service start to finish, and will handle all the paperwork and details. Why pay those high commissions in a seller's market when one phone call can literally save you thousands? Visit us at SpringerSellsHomes.com or call 219-838-0180. Springer Realty.
Baxter Printing is a family-owned and operated union print shop that has been serving Lake County, Indiana for over 50 years. They specialize in commercial and political printing like brochures, mailings, banners, and signs. Now located at 311 North Broad Street in Griffith, the folks at Baxter know how to get your job done right and on time. Call 219-923-1999 or visit us at BaxterPrint.com and see what Baxter Printing can do for you.
Looking for a friend who knows how to be a good listener? Humane Indiana in Munster has four-legged friends waiting to meet you. Open daily at 11 a.m., Humane Indiana provides many animal services from rescue to daily care. They provide on-site education while managing a wildlife preserve. At the main facility located at 421 45th Street, the staff awaits your visit. Ron Harlow Media would like to thank Director Brian Fitzpatrick and Board Vice President Scott Filler from Apex Construction and Remodeling for their support. Visit Humane Indiana and leave with a new member of the family. To find out more, visit the Humane Indiana website or dial 219-922-3811.
Getting at least two more running backs.
Right on. All right, we're back. Robert and Harlow are here. Let's get it. We are talking strategy. Telephone. What exactly are your drafts this weekend?
Say again.
When are your drafts? Saturday, Sunday?
Well, Sunday night, I think at 9 or 9:30.
Online?
Yeah, online. Everything's online now because we don't get together.
Right.
That
I used to love that. God, that was the whole season for me. I love getting together.
Right. I'm going to tell you my classic draft move. This will work in baseball or football. How to get your friends all jacked up. You know how you had the draft board? Remember the draft board with the little
stickers?
names?
The stickers, yeah. We did that a few years.
So,
not many.
I will wait for my buddy to go up. And when he had his back turned, I tell my other buddy, I say, when he turns back around, I'm going to whisper in your ear, and you laugh. And then I'll laugh, but then we'll stop laughing and look down. Okay? So every time it worked, draft a pick, he laughs, I laugh, and we're looking, and then we look down. He goes, "What?" We go, "Nothing. That was a good pick." No, what really? Why are you guys laughing? We weren't laughing at you. We weren't laughing at your pick, were we?
No, man, it was something else.
He goes, "Yes, you guys were. Why? Why were you laughing at me?" No reason. Psychological games, Ron.
I understand.
You have to play
I've been a trickster. I've been a little trickster.
I love that one.
You know what I saw?
I
saw a clip on something fun. If you want to take a second for something like that, was how people determine the draft order every year. Okay. How about this one for a strategically one? Uh-huh. The winner of the Consolation Bowl gets the number one pick, and then it goes down from there, and then it's reverse order that way. One was whatever they put golfers in a hat. Whatever golfer you get, what place they come in the golf outing gets it.
That's
but
interesting.
what I did see was a 20-minute segment on if you lose, if you come in last. Very bad thinking sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very bad.
I like the
tomatoes.
The person who got the My Pony tattoo on their butt.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't see that, but I seen a lot of guys getting pummeled by tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Have to wear a dress. The sandwich boards, they have to walk around naked or whatever. kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, it's all fun. But you used to love to get in a room with your buddies and goof on each other.
I mean,
And then you love to see their reaction when you took their player.
Oh, right.
And they were about to pick. They're like, God damn it! You took the guy I was going to draft.
Because this has happened to me where we, as an idiot, that takes forever to pick. It's so long that you think, because I was behind him, that I would yell out, is it me? And I say a guy, then he takes the guy that I said. I'm not kidding you. That's happened to me.
Online. When you got 60 seconds or 90 seconds, and you're like,
it's got to be this guy.
Up. And I'm taking Calvin Ridley. I'm going to take Ridley if he doesn't.
Ding.
It goes down to 1 second. Ridley. You're like,
that's what I wanted Ridley or Jay.
So much hope for 90 seconds.
I was going at wide there. I was going to go JJ.
I mean?
Yeah.
But then you go like this. Who am I going to take now? That was my pick.
That's another good tip, because you should have at least 2 or 3 in a queue.
And especially a guy like me.
Back-to-backs, yeah.
Who's got the back-to-backs on the snake.
You better be ready.
I got to be ready.
Well, I say you better have one ready, because then you let that one run, and then
do a little research on your next
one. Yeah, got it. All right, let's move to something where people are being bad. These are my top 10, the 10 or 12 players being drafted too high. So to me, that means they're not going to end up being on my team.
Yeah, I guess
they haven't been on my team. The first one we probably got the same. Saquon Barkley. If he's going in the first round, you're taking him too soon. You are. You're risking your whole team on a guy that's not going to be able to play week 1 on maybe one of the bottom 4 or 5 teams in the league, which means they don't run the ball that well.
I agree with you. I agree
Stay
with
ready,
Ron. Stay away from Giants and Barkley.
Yeah. All right. How about Mixon in the second round? After the second round, okay. I think it's the third round. I would take Mixon, which I would, because you're saying he's back. I saw an interview where he seemed pretty confident, very happy. They're calling. They got their nickname. You heard their nickname?
No, I haven't.
They're calling themselves the Fab Five. The 3 wideouts, Mixon and Burrow. They're calling themselves the Fab Five. I swear to God.
All right, we need to slow that down a little bit.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Joe Burrow was pretty good there for a while.
Hold on.
They haven't been good forever. Ever. Never. When were they good? When was the last time? Yeah,
Overland.
Yeah, that's it.
They had a good team then.
Yeah, they did.
A really good team. The team that went to the Super Bowl was very good.
I
love
that
the 49ers all they can handle.
Love that.
Icky and the boys.
I had it. I knew how to do it.
They had a good team.
So, hey, I'm moving on.
Booker was good. Booker was a really good quarterback.
No doubt he was.
Anyway, but Joe Mixon.
You know he's the number one. You know he's going to get his carries, but
I mean,
he could get 60 yards, 20 carries, 60 yards.
Right, that's the problem. Their offensive line is not great shakes. I mean, Burrows could be struggle a little, especially early in this season. I like Mixon. I don't know if I have him as a top 10 back anymore.
He wasn't though. I mean, he was like 15, and when I took him, he was probably.
Okay, that's about right.
They were going
crazy. But you're
crazy.
saying you don't want to be involved.
I have him.
No,
I have him in the third. But I took him in the third.
Third round better. Second round stretchy.
How about this one? Mike Evans, number 33 overall, ahead of CeeDee Lamb, Robert Woods with Stafford, and even Godwin, who I'd rather have before Mike Evans.
Absolutely, I'm with you 100%. I mean,
33. That's the early 4th round for a guy who, he caught for 5 weeks he caught 4 1-yard touchdowns or something like that. 1-yard touchdowns. Weird.
Sustainable.
Godwin's the stud. Godwin's the stud on that team.
Mike Evans is kind of a touchdown dependent to have a. He's got to hit the double digits for it to be worthwhile
touchdowns,
for him, right?
Yeah, and he's out questionable every week. I think Chris Godwin's the real deal on this team. He was injured all last year. I'm not saying I would be okay to have him as my number one.
2 years ago, Goodwin is a beast.
Good. I like him. I really like him this year. Healthy.
Winston was running around with him.
Okay, OBJ in the 7th round makes me say he's a weekly starter. That means he's not a weekly starter. 7th rounder. If he's right there, you're not going to have to take him. There's going to be guys around him where you want. Hold on.
Let me write this down. I shouldn't draft Beckham.
I know, but people
are nuts.
They still talk about
all crazy. Oh no, Ron, you're right. I'm being sarcastic to you. You people out there, you people on TV, you're all crazy. You're living off the past. Like 5 years ago. Everybody remembers that in the rookie year with the Giants.
That's how they remember.
Remember, he was with Eli Manning. He's not in the league anymore.
Super Bowl quarterback.
But remember, they were in their heyday. Oh, Beckham's just. Oh.
It was his rookie. It was with the strange thing. He had his best rookie year. He's been not as good since. Right? Am I right? That's weird.
Absolutely.
It's rare that's the case, though. They usually get better.
Very rare. People do not let somebody else stretch for Beckham. Let them be the guy who. What round did you say he's going?
7th round. In the 60s. 65, 66, or 67 overall. Right on. All right, here's another player that I have, but he's going too early.
Okay.
Raheem Mostert at 60. That puts him at the first pick of the 7th round. That makes him maybe your number 3rd. Now, I'm not saying I don't want him. I think you should wait another round. Sorry, Trey Sermons is the real deal. We think he is.
Yeah.
He's actually getting drafted. This ADP had him drafted. Every draft that I'm doing right now has Trey going just within a round. Right. A lot of times the guy that takes Sermon gets Mostert in the next round. I'm not kidding you. They do that.
Exactly what I've seen. They're going right there, about a round difference right there. You're absolutely right.
And I like him, and I have him.
I wrote that down as our middle round running back type thing.
I like him because when he's in, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm playing him week 1. They play against the crappy team. See, the whole thing about Mostert is it's not the games he missed; it's the games he don't finish. That's when he really hurts. That's when it really hurts. Because nobody counts those. Nobody talks about it. He missed 4 games. What about the game he played a half? Nobody says anything about it.
Last year he played a couple early. I remember Trish had him on it.
I had him.
And she's like,
what happened again?
Why isn't he playing? I go, I think he got hurt.
I have him too, Trish. This year again, I had to.
You really want to try to get Sermon and cover you got things covered then.
And then, you know what? Our triple backup cover is Wayne Gallman, maybe. We like Wayne Gallman, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
If you want to do that thing.
But I like, if you get Mostert and Sermon, I like having you're talking about a team that likes to run the ball. They're probably right behind Baltimore and Tennessee.
I probably got Mostert in the 9th or the 10th round, so I had to take him.
That's a good value.
I had to take him.
Good value, though.
I agree. I had to do it. That's the team that I took Tyreek and Diggs first, so I'm digging for running backs. I don't want, I'm literally,
fun.
How about this again? Strategy, I think I'm going to sit Gaskin week 1 just to see how that team works it out and play Raheem Mostert with 4 wideouts and Chris Carson, who's my number 1. All right, 10 players I've drafted to. Obviously, Robert's going to agree with me. Number 53, Mark Andrews, getting drafted ahead of Hockenson. I'd rather have on my team Noah Fant, Logan Thomas than Mark Andrews.
I would too. I mean, we beat it to death. Baltimore averaged 170 yards passing.
So you're not going to get the yardage or the point PPR.
Touchdown. He doesn't get double-digit touchdowns. He's not a top 5 tight end.
Yes, and is there a chance with that something opens up more with the lack of a receiving back that's got the early on until our Tyson gets a little wet?
Well, Mark Andrews already banged up in training camp. I mean, he's another guy, gets banged up. He's a tight end. All tight ends get banged up.
I remember a year really wanting Mark Andrews really bad, and that was the only year.
Remember when they had Hayden Hurst and
Hayden Hurst, number 1 pick.
Yeah, right. And Mark Andrews was the 3rd or 4th.
What happened to Hayden Hurst? Where's he at?
He's running around Atlanta. He's backing up the Pitter.
Okay.
He's running around with Pitts.
Oh, speaking of Pitts.
They signed him, and then they didn't use him last year. Somebody drafted him in their draft, and then went like this. He's on this passing team with Ryan, and he ain't getting nothing.
Nothing.
So, that didn't work out.
Speaking of Pitts, they say he might go for the all-time rookie receiving yards record.
Yes.
Do you know who currently holds that record?
God damn it. I know this.
I think it's hilarious. I'm pretty close to the number, too. They said it when they said this. So
it's not Ingram. It's
no.
I know it's not Ingram.
Man, you're thinking the wrong century, bro.
Yeah.
Mike Ditka.
Mike Ditka.
1,067 yards.
He was rookie of the year.
Mike Ditka currently holds the record.
I just got it as you were about to say.
I think you said Ditka when I said Ditka.
I just thought
I owe you a call.
They talked about it. They're like, it hasn't happened since the 60s.
That's amazing, isn't it?
But I mean, you're talking about different athletes nowadays. You're talking about guys who aren't tight ends, truly.
Right. They're bucking. Yeah, they're trying to keep guys out of the background.
You used to have to be a blocker, then a receiver. Now it's more,
receiver. We'll get you out there.
Yeah, we'll get you out of the way for the blocking part. You better be a mismatch. So I think it's a different era, but he does have an uphill battle. I mean, there is some risk involved with taking Pitts. I mean, I'm not going to say that because what if he can't block? What if he blows assignments? What if he, they got to go,
Well, are you going to do like I did? take a suitable backup. I got
Absolutely.
Logan Thomas 4 rounds later.
If you take Pitts, then you're covered.
I feel good.
I think you're definitely covered. Yeah.
And you'll take Gesicki or Noah Fant or Tunyon.
I'm with you. Yep.
All right. Probably a player won't be on my team. Deandre Swift, 35, 4th rounder. He's already hurt.
Oh my God.
He's more of a scat back again on the worst team that could
Once
be.
again, there's this.
He's been described as 1B. Jamal Williams has been described as 1A. Guys, steer clear of this guy. That's again, if he's there in the 7th or 8th round, right? I mean, if it's something that's worth maybe sharing that 8. He had 7 or 8.
But I think
he had a decent year last year.
He's a name that people know. They remember him from previous fantasy drafts. Like, oh, that's a guy I remember. And you'd be shocked in some leagues where people go, oh, I do know that guy's name. I'll take him. Well, think about the situation. Think about the quarterback. Think about who competition he has. Think about he's already banged up already. Anthony Lynn was talking up Williams already.
Right, yeah. So
I'll let somebody stretch for that.
Again, that team ain't going to be winning. He's not going to be running out the clock. He's going to be running for his life, most likely. No. All right, Kyler Murray, number 37. I would like to somehow get him out of my top 10 quarterbacks. I just didn't do it. He's a powder. He's a whiner. I could just see if the COVID thing takes over that team. The second half of the season, he powdered on the bench by himself for the entire season. Why? Because I had him. I watched him do this.
And he got banged up. I mean, the Rams put it on him. I think he got put on it in the Dallas game. I don't think he finished that Ram game.
Right.
When the Rams had the backup quarterback to Goff and had to make the playoffs, and that guy out of nowhere beat Arizona. That tells you all you need to know.
Yeah,
I've never been a big fan. He's not a big guy.
The number 4th or 5th quarterback, really? Over Aaron Rodgers?
He's not.
There's just no way I'm taking him over Aaron Rodgers.
When I look at his face, I don't see a leader. I don't see a guy I'm following into the wall.
Nope.
And personally,
I should have learned from you. Said this from day one. I shouldn't have took him last year. I should listen, Robert. He started out gangbusters, right? He had a great first half.
And I was like,
I was wrong.
I better go hide in the closet. I better go over here and turn the mic off.
Dun.
But I was like, man,
he showed up.
And I was like, but this.
I should have traded him.
Things bear out. I mean, what did you learn about him? Make him a pocket passer.
Yep.
Give him a sock in the jaw and see if he gets up and how he likes it. He don't like it.
Right.
He does not like it.
I'm with
you. How could he be drafted ahead of Aaron Rodgers?
That's insane. Or Dak, or even Russell Wilson.
No.
Herbert? No. I think Herbert. Matt Stafford? No.
Stafford? No.
I mean, dude, we're all David. We're all loving Matthew Stafford this year. He's got a big year.
Kyle Murray's a name. Let somebody overdraft him.
They really only have Nuke. That's the established wide receiver anyway. You said Kirk's a turd now. Rondo.
Kind of a loony coach who's got this college idea that doesn't seem to be working. Was it year 3 of this nonsense? So is it going to suddenly turn on the switch? No.
Right on.
I don't want any part of it.
You won't be surprised with this guy either. Number 55 ADP, Tyler Lockett. Again, he had a few monster games. My problem with Tyler is we know for a fact with that offense, he has 0 floor. There was a chance that he could literally goose egg, which I believe he did. He didn't. He had 0 catches.
I think in 8 of his 16 games, he had like 70% of his production.
He was not good. Three games, he had 2 touchdowns. I think. Yeah, at least.
Very disproportionate. And what are you looking for in fantasy football?
Consistency.
That's why Travis Kelce won everybody Super Bowls last year. Every week, 6 catches,
20 points
catches,
every week,
80, 90, a touchdown, 2 touchdowns, a little over 100 every week, like clockwork. And this, you're talking about Lockett as top
20. I'm sure he's got to be a top 20 wideout, 25 at least.
Top 20 wideout. I could think of some better names.
Right on. All right, my last guy is another guy from Arizona, Chase Edmonds at 61. Now, if you remember, I mean, he was one of my favorite picks back in a while. I love Chase Edmonds.
You like Chase? The Drake was running around.
Because I didn't like the Drake. I've had both of those guys.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with him. I'm watching him play. He doesn't move. He's not an in between the tackles guy. He's more of a scat outside guy. I can tell you this. I think James Conner is already better than Kenyon Drake. So they're already starting out with a better backup running back that's supposed to run through the tackles. Who did a pretty good job for Pittsburgh when he was vertical. He did.
And when he was healthy, right? Absolutely.
So,
I think the thing with Arizona, they're another team with the kooky coach, Cliff Kingsbury, who he's like Nagy. He never met a run he didn't like to pass on. So, I mean, they just don't run the ball. They don't volume it. They don't volume run the ball. And they don't throw to the running backs. You've seen that with the Bears, too. David Montgomery and, when Cohen was healthy, yes. But David Montgomery and Chase Edmonds, they just don't get the ball. They don't get the ball in their hands. And where is he going?
61. First pick of the 7th round.
Yeah, I could think of some better names.
Absolutely.
Right, that's the thing.
See,
it's all about value.
That's 61. That's right where like the previous Javonte's going. Trey Sermon. Well, that's our next segment. So we're segueing perfectly.
I'll give you some guys into that, but hold on. Let me
segueing perfectly.
Let me give you a couple guys drafted too high there.
Okay, yeah, your turn.
Gus Edwards. I'm sorry.
5th round too fast? Too much?
21st overall running back.
I hear you.
Because we talked about his carries, 137, 133, 144. He's not a workhorse. You're tell me if you want these other guys or Gus Edwards. Darrell Henderson Jr. from the Rams.
Darrell Henderson.
Mike Davis, Atlanta.
Mike Davis.
Trey Sermon even from 49ers.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure there.
You get into a debate then. All these guys are going well below or after Gus Edwards. I mean, everybody's all hyped up on the Gus Edwards. This guy's not going to be a workhorse.
He's too big.
He's too big. He's too big a target. He runs too hard. I mean, he's never going to, I think he's getting overdrafted. So, it's a 21st overall running back, no thanks. 45th overall player, he's getting drafted in the 4th round.
Right.
Or, a little over the 4th round in that 5th. No, thank you. Another guy, number 22 overall running back going. Number 46 player, Damian Harris, Patriots. I think he's going way too high. I mean,
even with the Sony Michel move.
Even with Sony Michel move, you still got Stevenson. You still got James White. James White is going to be sneaky. He's a sneaky pick. I presume he's going in drafts. I haven't done any drafts yet. But James White should be drafted. I mean, as a PPR player. And
you think he'd be good? He's a good fit with Mac Jones?
He's a good fit with Mac Jones. I think Damian Harris is a little bit – I don't see him as a top 25 running back. Personally, that's me.
I hear you. I
don't see it, and I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed.
He doesn't – it was Sony Michel that caught 7 passes the whole year. Right. Damian Harris doesn't catch even 20 even? I don't even know.
I got him at he had 0 receiving touchdowns. I know that. I think he had 4 catches for 12 yards last year.
For the year.
But you got to remember, he did get hurt. He had 137 carries, 691 yards. So, I mean, he's a runner. He doesn't catch the ball very much. And he got hurt last year, and I'm telling you, he's one fumble away from being benched. I wouldn't take any Patriot. Remember Stephen Ridley. That's all I got to say to you. Remember Stephen Ridley. I almost drafted
and who was the other one? There was another one before that.
LeGarrette Blunt.
LeGarrette Blunt got me. Got me in the early round.
He used to be Mike Shanahan when he was with Denver.
Who's the last?
They called him Lucifer.
Is Curtis Martin their last 1,000-yard rusher, maybe? Seriously.
Could have been Curtis Martin. It could have been, they had, what's his face? The guy who was on Baltimore. I'm
sorry.
The angry guy. I forgot his name.
They're always angry.
Anyway.
Run angry.
But anyway, the point is, try not to get involved with the New England running game.
Right on.
All right, so I think those two guys are being overdrafted on running back. Quarterback, overall, 16th quarterback overall going is Trevor Lawrence from Jacksonville. Come on. Everybody's hung up, and I've seen somebody talking about this. Everybody's hung up that you can't be a top quarterback nowadays for fantasy if you don't run the ball. If you're not a runner, you don't get those juice for 300-400 yards and 5-6 touchdowns, you can't be a top 10 quarterback, which I call bull.
I call bull.
I call total bull. Tell me if you take these guys before Trevor Lawrence or not. We're going to play that game.
I love it.
Trey Lance?
Trey.
Baker Mayfield?
Okay. Don't know.
Ryan Fitzpatrick?
For sure. Fitz over.
Justin Fields?
Absolutely.
Derek Carr?
Derek Carr, sure. 70%.
All these guys are going after him. Everybody's hung up on this. I want to.
He's got good wideouts, though.
I get that, but his coach is a buffoon. Already he's shown his buffoonery. which I think is going to hurt him, number one. 2,
Buffoonery.
the buffoonery. 2, he's a rookie, which rookies are. Everybody wants to find the next Justin Herbert. Everybody wants to be
this
the guy.
Year, well, you got your chances this year. Someone's going to be.
You got your chances, but everybody's trying to find it, and they overdrafting these guys and ranking them too high. I'd take Justin Fields or Trey Lance any day over Trevor Lawrence. Do I think Trevor Lawrence has talent? Yes. I think he's going to be wasted in Jacksonville. Yes. I think this rookie year is going to be a tough one. Yes.
I agree.
16th overall quarterback. Come on.
Yeah,
way too drafted way too high. Number 32 wide receiver overall. Number 82 player overall. Juju Schuster, Pittsburgh. I think there's too many mouths to feed. I think he didn't have that greatest season last year. I think people are hung up on his last great year, which was 2018.
His only great year, right?
Only when he had 111 catches, 14, 26, and 7 touchdowns. And who was his partner in that crime?
Antonio Brown,
possible Hall of Fame type player. He was the second banana.
You can draw some,
the second guy. Antonio Brown over here, Juju doing his thing. When Juju became the man, the next year he had 47
Everybody's going,
catches.
can't wait to get him now. Number 1. He was a first or second rounder.
47 catches. Probably the disappointment in 2019.
Absolutely
I think
was.
right now he's getting overdrafted because of the name and the Pittsburgh thing.
Ben's old. Ben is
Big
not
Ben,
old.
Big Ben, 97 catches. He will not get 97 catches again. Remember, Claypool didn't play a lot of last year.
He came
in the
in.
beginning.
Yeah.
And then, September almost, didn't play him. In October, he kind of broke out. So
and if I had to pick, I would say Deontay Johnson's their number 1 receiver.
Excellent.
I would say.
All right. Right
if
now,
I had to pick.
Right now, we'll play the game. I always play, well, if you say Juju ain't so good, who are you going to take? All right. Would you take Corey Davis?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Would you take Devonta Smith from Philly?
I don't know. I don't know if they're
all right, debatable.
Oops, sir.
Michael Pittman Jr. for Indy.
He's going to be the only guy right now. Number 1 wide receiver for sure.
And then Jacoby Myers is going well after Juju. These are players all going from 98 to 121. Juju's at 82. He's getting overdrafted. Let somebody else stretch for it. And then my last guy is Daniel Jones. Oh, nobody will listen.
He's not even getting drafted in mine, I don't think. He's top 20?
They got him ranked 22nd. Oh.
No way.
No way. This gets back to that narrative. You've got to be a running quarterback.
He's got little wheels. He's got some wheels.
He's got the wheels. I'll give you that. Last year he ran for 423, and you know how many rushing touchdowns he had?
1.
So, his speed is so great. 2,943 yards last year, 11 touchdowns, 10 picks. And I didn't even include all of his fumbles.
Guys, that's not good.
Right now.
That's a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Right now.
11 to 10.
Right now, would you take Tua?
I guess.
Would you take Derek Carr?
I'd love Derek Carr over him.
Would you take Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Would you take Zach Wilson?
Absolutely.
Would you take Mac Jones?
Yes.
All these guys are ranked anywhere from 23 to 31st behind him. People are too hung up. I think there's I'm going to say an East Coast bias BS. New York. Everybody wants to find the next superhero in New York.
It's Zach Wilson. It's not Daniel Jones.
Yeah. 22nd overall, I think. And I'm saying this because a lot of people will get a rank sheet.
And they just
go to their draft. Say, well, who's the next quarterback? 22nd, Daniel Jones. I'm going to take him. No. Think about that twice.
I never go by the rankings.
Of course we don't.
I go by the dots and take my guys. We never do.
Somebody's making these rankings that may not know what they're doing. You think they're some sort of geniuses? I personally don't. And that's why we always pick apart the rankings, because Daniel Jones should not be the second quarterback in any league.
I agree. All right, last segment before we're going to break down. We're going to break down our top 10s again.
Yes.
We're going to focus on the back half, the 6 to 10s, because we haven't said much about those guys. Yeah. Okay, picking the right mid-round RBs can be the difference. These guys are the ones that are going to be your number 3s that often turn into your number 2s. Oh. So you're looking for a guy that's at least a halvesies kind of thing. So I think we all can agree that the consensus says Javonte Williams is the 6th round pick. That's when I say all these running backs start going off the board. Right. Before the 6th, it's the Josh Jacobs that you don't really want. Yeah. Who else is in there? Melvin Gordon maybe. The guys that got the name but not the fame this year. I put Gus Edwards as good for me in the 5th round, but that's again, you're saying.
Well, yes.
Depending on how many running backs are going. You had him in the 4th round.
I got him in the 4th round, and I think there's better guys. That's all I'm saying. When I'm talking about Gus Edwards, he's just being overdrafted because of all the Dobbins talk.
Right.
If Dobbins didn't get hurt and let's say they didn't have Dobbins and Dobbins didn't get hurt and Gus Edwards was just Gus Edwards, he wouldn't be going in the 4th round.
I hear you.
Right? But because everybody's here watching Gus Edwards is going to replace Dobbins. Gus Edwards. It's all, recency bias.
All right, this next group are all guys that I say have a role to start, but would have a monster role if an injury would take place. All these guys we've been talking. Trey Sermon, A.J. Dillon, Jamal Williams, James Conner, Kenyon Drake even. They say he's going to have a role. And Josh Jacobs. And then
making money.
And Kenyon Drake making more than half the starting running backs.
Yes.
And then my last one's Malcolm Brown. Do you think Malcolm Brown's number 2 or Ahmed? I really think Malcolm Brown's.
I think Malcolm Brown's number 2, but I think Gaskin's being underdrafted. I think there's too much talk about Malcolm Brown in the preseason to dampen it, and Ahmed and all the things going on in Miami. But I think he's a great number 2 because of the pass catching. I do. Last year he had 41 catches in 10 games. He averaged over 4 catches a game. And he's going to do better than that with Tua because they really had bad quarterbacking last year until they played Tua, and he's going to get better.
I appreciate you saying that because I was forced to take.
I don't think there's any force. I think that's a good pick. I think we get too caught up in a little bit of the narrative in the preseason. Like Malcolm Brown's going to cut it. What about Ahmed? But those guys were all there before.
They were back.
Drake's gone. It's Gaskin's show. So.
The one player that just stands out in that group to me is A.J. Dillon. If that guy got a chance, if Jones were to go down, that guy is going to be a first round. Let's say he just left. A.J. Dillon's a first rounder next year. That's what I would say. I would just say that. He is a mountain of a guy, and he's shifty. He can catch the ball. Preseason's bowling over guys. Yeah. I guess the number 1 after tackle breaker. I guess.
Well, he's got the biggest thighs in football.
Yeah, I really like him this year.
Rodgers looked at him and said, "Do your thighs get bigger?"
They show him.
How is that possible?
They show him a lot. They do.
Yeah,
they go with the camera.
They do.
So I got him in both leagues. I'm very happy. Then this next group are my favorite backups on teams that run the ball a ton, or there was a little buzz and upside to them. Of course, right at the top we got the Matsons, the Pollards, the Kadre Allison, Devonte Booker, and Chubba Hubbard in that group. Yeah. And then after that, we're going way deep.
I see Jamal. Some people had Jamal Adams in the 9th round from Detroit. Where have you seen him going?
Jamal Adams.
Who? Jamal Williams. I'm sorry.
Oh, I had him in the
Jamal Williams.
I had Jamal Williams in the upper group that said that has a role would have a bigger role with injury.
Yeah, but he's going like 9th round. The 9th round. In that 9th round.
That's a tasty pick.
That's a tasty.
He's got talent.
Tasty
There's no doubt about
pick.
it.
It's gonna. And then I like Michael Carter in the 10th round.
I thought about talking about them a little bit, boy. I'm not sold that team's going to do it. That they're going to go with one.
But I think as the season goes on, Zach Wilson will get a little better, and I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to want to run the ball, and I think they're going to, Ty Johnson, Tevin Coleman.
Ty Johnson threw his body all over the place. He looked pretty good. You got to give him credit for that, though. I hear you.
Coleman's always getting hurt. I think Michael Carter.
Didn't get drafted. The guy that's number 1 on the Jets on the depth chart didn't get drafted in either one. Tevin Coleman didn't get drafted either one of my teams. Nope.
Interesting.
I'm surprised too.
Now I think he should be drafted.
I hear you.
Idiot,
I'm surprised too. I didn't want him.
I think you talked a lot of good names there. I'm not going to
rehash
dissect it, but those middle round guys, I like Zach Moss as a flyer in the 9th round.
Had him.
Trey Sermon we talked about with Mostert going about 6th, 7th round together.
Yeah, right there.
Myles Gaskin, I like Javonte Williams. I like Javonte Williams in Denver. I think Melvin Gordon. I know he played in the last exhibition
and
game.
looked good,
and he looked solid.
First play.
39 yards.
He was hurt the whole time till then.
But he's always banged up, and I think he's a little older.
And he's ready to say thank you for all this money. I'm going to retire.
Personally, I like Darrell Henderson in that fifth. If you could get him like 5th or 6th round from the Rams, I like the value there.
Now that my guy's hurt.
I know, he's probably zooming up.
I thought Xavier was playing great.
I know he was, but
I didn't think it was gonna be Sony, but now it's got to be Sony. Dang it.
But I think we're nailing those kind of running backs in the middle rounds.
Get a couple of them. Get a couple.
Get a couple of them. Don't overthink it too much.
Don't get your Naheem Hines. Don't get your. I could think of whatever. I don't want James White. He wants James White.
I wouldn't get Williams from the Bears. I think he'll get overdrafted because people are like, "Oh, I want the Bears on my team." I think he's a waste of time. They don't run the ball enough for Montgomery, let alone another running back.
Right, we're kind of low on Kareem Hunt actually.
Kareem Hunt,
we're down on him a little.
I mean, they're gonna kind of mix him in, and
he was supposed to be.
He'll probably be pushed aside.
Didn't you prove the fact that he's the wide receiver, the catching back, was a lie?
It's a lie.
It was a lie.
He doesn't catch the ball as much as you think. I mean,
on Kansas City he did, but that's a different team.
Kansas City, different team at a different time. That was like what 3-4 years?
Yeah, no doubt, 4 or 5.
He sat out that year.
Yeah.
And,
he kicked the
that
girl
rookie
in the face.
year, that first game, he fumbled on the first.
I had him in there.
And I had him in, and I went, uh-oh. The rookie fumbles on the first drive. Are they going to bench him?
Next
and
play.
Then he, had 140, 50 total yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. So
I won that week.
Monday Night Football. That's when Monday Night. I know it was a Thursday night.
He was my 5th round pick that year. I remember exactly the round.
Kansas City and the Patriots.
He was my 5th round pick. I remember when I took him.
I remember I took him too.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're reminiscing. But on what? Yeah, we're talking about the running backs that are just riffraff.
Yeah.
Let somebody else draft the riffraff.
Yeah, even Dave Montgomery. I mean, he had a great year, but
you can't depend on the volume. You take away his last 6 games. I mean, he goes.
Yeah, and where were you till then? You
were nowhere.
You probably got traded.
Nagy gonna wake up? No.
And we all agree Justin Fields and Tariq Cohen are probably a better marriage.
Right. Tariq Cohen got to sit out at least 5-6 games because he's on the PUP list.
I did draft him in one.
I mean, you take him, you put him on that IR list. And see
we don't have that, but I got 20. But we got 20 guys. I'm good.
20 guys.
I'm good. I want to hit the top 10 and then send them on your draft wing. All right, top 10. I have again a quarterback. We're gonna give a top 10 in each category. A lot of these are you should know, but guys, knowing that the difference, especially on the back half, we're going to talk about. Right, quarterbacks, obviously, we've talked enough about Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, A-Rod. I've got, is that about what you got? Is that your first 4 or no?
Well, you said that really fast.
Mahomes, Josh Allen,
right.
Lamar, and Aaron Rodgers I have.
Yeah, well, I got Prescott at 4.
I got Dak at 5. Okay,
all right. I got Rodgers moving up. I got Rodgers right at that after Prescott.
Okay.
Hit Wilson, Herbert, and I'm moving Kyle Murray down.
I got Kyler next. I'm moving him down without even doing it. Then I got Herbert, Stafford, Tom Brady, and Justin Fields. And I'll tell you what. I think he's going to do something. I think he's going to do something.
He is.
He's in the best position out of all the quarterbacks.
I believe that as well.
To have free reign to do whatever he wants. He's going to be. He proved to me that he's a dual threat. That the tight end that caught one, he weaved that through 2 guys' hands on the run, touchdown pass.
He's looked solid. He's going to make mistakes, but I think
he's got a chip on his shoulder too. He does a little bit because they don't want to talk about him with the rest of these guys because he only went 4 picks later. 4 guys later. Come on, guys.
And I think
we're splitting hairs.
He's on the perfect team where Nagy's going to have to try to save his job.
Right.
And if the Bears go 1-2 or 0-3,
and
they start slow and they look like crap on offense, he can't. He's going to have to try to save his job and put him in.
And
I mean, come on.
No one talks about this. I absolutely think that this is the year that the Chicago Bears have a lift in their receiving core. Mooney's hitting that 3rd year, ready to take a bigger role. Anthony Miller gone. If Cole Kmet's going to do it, it's going to be this year. Allen Robinson's rock solid. Again, if not a superstar, certainly solid. He does. And then when Tariq Cohen gets in there, it's going to be dink and run. I agree. They're going to have to do that to move the ball.
I agree that the Bears have a better receiving core, absolutely, and I think Justin Fields will be. I think him and Trey Lance have the best opportunity.
Absolutely.
With the best team surrounding them. I mean, Zach Wilson's got trouble. The Jets are
the Jets. They updated the offensive line. Don't forget they got
a little bit.
The left and right
still
guards.
Coach still trying to find a little bit what's going on there. I mean, Mac Jones, I think they'll protect him a little bit. But we're talking about fantasy football, not real life football.
Right. That's always a difference.
Right. A big difference because you're talking about putting stats up.
Right, because
I think Justin Wilson. I don't know about top 10.
But again, I hear you. But again, it's over Cousins because of that problem.
Whoa!
I told you Russell Wilson's not my guy.
You don't like Russell
Trey
Wilson?
or Ryan Tannehill. That's a running team. I don't think he's going to have to do as much as Justin Fields does.
Last year, Ryan Tannehill had, I think, 6 or 7 rushing touchdowns.
Did he?
Yeah. You tell me he's going to do that again?
No.
I think he had 30.
He won't need to.
I think he had 32 or 33 passing, and he had like 6 or 7 rushing.
If they figure out defense, that team could win the
again.
Super Bowl. If they could put the defense together, that's enough offense to win the Super Bowl.
Still not good.
All right, who's at the end of yours? 5.
Oh.
Tom Brady, you're okay in the top 9?
I got
top
Tom
10?
Brady. I got
Stafford.
Well, I had the Prescott. Unlike you, I got Rodgers, and I got Russell Wilson.
He's not a winner. He's not a fantasy winner. I can't take him.
You know what you're hung up on?
Last year's second half.
Last couple of years, the second half hasn't been as productive. If he could put together a consistent season,
but I said we talked about that. We think Pete Carroll doesn't allow that.
Likes to
he
run
won't
the
allow
ball.
it.
They always say let Russell cook, and they won't let him cook.
And how do they finish always? They always struggle. They're holding DK Metcalf back, in my opinion.
They did, and they got a tough division.
You got to stay right in here, by the way.
They got a tough division because they got the Rams who are going to be back with Stafford, and they got 49ers going to be back in Arizona.
Yeah.
For all the Murray things, still got to be dealt with. But I got Herbert.
Love Herbert.
And then Brady, Stafford. I'm moving Kyle Murray to back into my top 10.
The end.
And I don't have Jalen Hurts or Tannehill or any of those guys.
I had Cousins. Cousins got taken out because of COVID.
Cousins would be in that next kind of range because he's a good player.
He is.
He's a little underrated.
He is underrated.
Yeah, a little underrated.
On a great team.
So I got mine a little bit mixed up. I got Russell Wilson a little higher than you. I don't have Justin Fields in my top 10. Sorry.
All right, I understand.
Okay.
Let's go to the running backs. You go first this time.
Well, I got McCaffrey, Cook.
Me, Henry,
Elliott. I got Elliott 4.
Wait. You have Kamara way at the end. I have Kamara than Elliott. Okay.
I got Kamara. I put a little arrow here. I got him right behind Elliott.
Okay, 5.
Because I like Winston as his quarterback.
Taysom.
I like him. I like Kamara's
James
value with him instead of Hill.
James Winston may be a sleeper though. What do you think? I mean, because of the Taysom Hill factor. Is that the reason why you got to do that?
Right.
You got to go, dang.
You got to factor
back
in the goal line
again.
because goal line is touchdowns.
That's right.
If you bring in Kamara and Hill, and every time you're inside the 5 and they run the ball,
that'll drive you nuts.
Winston never throws the ball inside the 5. You know what's his maximum touchdowns? Probably maybe 25 to 30.
I agree.
He's never going to hit that fantasy goal. He might be a backup and might be a matchup guy. Winston,
Taysom could get hurt.
But right now I got Winston kind of that backup in the early 22.
I got that. All right, how about the back half of your 10 here?
So what I say? I said Elliott.
We're down to 5.
Kamara. I like Chubb.
I got Chubb.
Aaron Jones. I think he's a little underrated.
I got Eckler there.
I got Jones, and I got Eckler. Then I got Taylor, and then I got Mixon. I got Mixon at the back end of my top 10.
I don't even have him there.
Since I made the list, I moved Taylor around. I moved Kamara up because I was worried about the Hill thing, and I like Winston a little better. But I really haven't had a lot of movement on the other guys. I mean, I like where I got them. I like Aaron Jones. I'm not going to get him, so I know that. So.
Right? You're not going to get him because you have to do quarterbacks.
I got the number 1 pick. Right. All these other running backs are going to be gone when I pick my second pick.
Absolutely. So I got Eckler ahead just because of the offense. And again, I honestly think at this point, with Jones, the amount of wheels or amount of tread that's left on Jones' tires, the guy's got a heavy run for the last 3 years, big time. Yep. And they're going to ask more without Jamal Williams, I think. Eckler has the same amount of risk factor, I believe, in injury. Right. I have Gibson at 9 and Taylor.
PPR guy,
Eckler, yes.
I mean,
that's talking about him being all he does. He's not even he's not going to get 1,000 yards rushing.
Talking about being Kamara of the
Kamara lights.
So,
but again, you got to stay healthy, and there's no backup there. Joshua Kelly is terrible.
Joshua Kelly
terrible. I don't want either one of those guys. I want Roundtree watch list. That's my guy. Seriously.
Okay.
I got Gibson. I have Taylor. I want to get Taylor out of my top 10. I think, again, with Mac there, Naheem Hines is going to have a role. They got that other guy, the fourth. They got a fourth running back even.
Right.
And Taylor's been a guy that they've been pissed off at here and there. And they've got no quarterback.
And then what are the odds that Wentz is going to play 16 games? 0. What's the odds he plays 12?
Probably 50-50.
We can start betting, right? So, they're not going to have that.
I just don't.
Catalyst at the
They got a great
position.
offensive line. That's the one thing they have that could maybe push the offensive line. And they got a good defense. Yep. But I think my thought is a backup quarterback they're going to key on Jonathan Taylor. He's going to end up having that mixed-in season, or when they're. I think Ezekiel Elliott without Dak, that kind of thing. It's a run.
There's a recency bias in terms of Taylor that everybody remembers that last 6 games
where he crushed.
He
did well.
It, and he was. But there's a lot.
He had a middle. The middle was rough. You dropped him even, didn't you? Dropped him in one. But again, he was. But you have smaller rosters than I play.
Right. A, I got smaller rosters. B, I started 1-7, so I had to try to make the playoffs.
Well, and granted, you lost Godwin. Who else? You lost Galladay.
I think. All kinds of guys.
We talked about this. McCaffrey.
Taylor wasn't doing anything. I drafted Cam Akers. He wasn't doing anything. I drafted. It was a mess. But I made the playoffs. Won 2 playoff games that gave everybody a scare. What? So
you had monster, dude. But again,
so I'm a guy.
Someone in your house brought the trophy home. So.
Somebody else did. She did.
Way to go.
Amen.
I love it.
She's the goods.
Absolutely. Love the Trish.
I love the Trish. But Taylor, there's so many red flags hanging around with the Colts right now.
And he's still going first round.
Yeah,
still going at least a 10-11
and I'm like,
or 11-12.
There's just so many red flags. Let somebody else take the risk.
I hear that. We did yours already.
Yeah, we kind of went right through and we just muddle them up a little.
Right on. White House pretty much the same. I got Hill first. I know you probably have Adams. Hill, Adams, Diggs, Ridley, Nuke, JJ. This is where again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. JJ's number 6. That's right. Justin Jefferson. I got Scary Terry, DK, Keenan Allen, and then I have Godwin 10.
Wow.
I'm telling you, Godwin's going to have a big year.
That's interesting. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
But see, I got Adams, Hill, Diggs, Ridley. I actually switched Ridley and Diggs. So I got Ridley, Diggs. I got JJ 5 now that, Irv Smith's not going to be around.
Right.
I like A.J. Brown 6. I think Julio is going to help him, not hurt him.
Okay, that's a change.
I think Russell Wilson will cook a little bit more than you do, so I got DK. And then I got Keenan Allen, Scary Terry, and then I move Hopkins to like 10.
Wow. You know what? I'm down on Nuke too. I'm down on Nuke too.
He's Mr. No Vaccination.
He's wearing the badge.
How many games is he going to miss? I'll let somebody else deal with it.
He's starting to hit that. I'm getting kind of old. A little.
And I don't think they use him as a stretch player in Arizona.
And we got the guy. Rondell's coming to play.
Rondell's coming to play. And I think Hopkins just kind of – I don't think this offense is a great fit for him. When you watch him play, he kind of runs 5 yards. And you're like, is that how you want to use Hopkins?
Kyler's not a – he's antsy in the pocket. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there.
Well, that's how you beat him. You can make him a pocket passer, close the pocket.
You don't want to be there.
Aaron Donald was just coming right up the middle. Bow. But I like DK. I like AJ. I move Hopkins down. I like your guy Terry.
And I think I bias against DK because again I had DK and Wilson last year, and that second half was a little bit.
Mike Evans and Allen Robinson anywhere near my top 10.
Mike Evans I had, Allen Robinson I've had.
From a lot of lists I saw Mike Evans and Robinson's trying to sneak into the top 10. Not mine. I like A.J. Brown. I think he's going to have a good year. I think Julio's going to help him, not hurt him.
All right. We were down on him early thinking that they could split a lot because we were saying Julio could demand it. But Julio can get injured just as easy, and A.J. Brown could be the super.
I think most I think a lot of and that analysis is that third year. It's always that third year wide receiver, right?
Right.
Third year, the little button goes click, 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 click.
That's Terry too.
Bruce. Remember Isaac Bruce?
Oh yeah.
I remember his third year.
I had him,
and he broke out, and everybody's like, "Who?"
Torrey Holt. That was with Torrey Holt.
And but the point is that there's always been
it's been moving up to 2 the second year lately a little bit. But
second year's been lately, but that third year really cooking. Terry's third year, DK's third year, AJ's third year, Calvin's third year.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
You love all those kind of young players who are going to turn it on. So, like you said, I'll move Hopkins down. I like JJ a little bit more, and I like Ridley at 3. I like Ridley.
JJ's I would tell you, Justin Jefferson's my sleeper to be the number 1 wide receiver in the league.
Does he have the talent? Does he have the opportunity?
Because the Minnesota throws. If he could shake off being the number 1, defended guy, like he didn't have to do last year because of Thielen, he could be the number 1 wide receiver. I got a feeling.
I think if Thielen stays healthy, I don't mind having a healthy great number 2.
Yeah.
Takes the coverage off of the great
true.
number 1.
They should both have great years.
Look at what we talked about earlier in the show. When Juju had his breakout, Antonio Brown
was there.
Was doing his thing.
Was probably the number 1 wide receiver drafted that year.
He was. I had him on my team. Yes. And that's why I won the Super Bowl. But we're not going to reminisce.
He was so good. He was so good.
The point is, I want 2 guys running around together. I want 2 great wide receivers running around in today's game. If this ain't 1970, this ain't Tony Hill, Drew Pearson. These are the days where you need 2 good guys. So.
Rock on. All right, tight ends, and then we're going to let you guys go have a nosh, maybe. Obviously, we probably pretty close here at the beginning. Kelsey, Waller, Kittle, Pitts, TJ. So that's the first 5.
See, that's not mine.
No.
I know I'm going to go on. No. This shows,
are you dropping Kittle? Are you going to drop Kittle?
Yes. This show's being recorded, right?
It is.
It is for posterity. So
for all to see.
You could come back later on and say, Robert, you're a fool. I took Kittle as my 3rd tight end, and now I'm winning my league. And I'd go, I will shake your hand and tip my cap. But I think Kittle, just too many mouths to feed.
On a running team.
In a running team, and especially if Garoppolo starts the season. And of all those tight ends, Kittle does the most blocking. He does the most inline blocking, and that's where you get hurt. And
then they playing some goofy turf. Are they still playing on that thing? He complained about it. That's why he got hurt on his feet.
Yep. So I like Kelsey, Waller, Pitts, my guy, and then I like Hockenson before I would take Kittle. I'm sorry.
I understand.
I know everybody loves Kittle and loves his run after the catch, and they love his fieriness and his hair. And he's swearing in interviews, and he's all fired up, and that's all beautiful. But in the end, I need production out of my tight end. I need to be on the field. I know Hawkinson's been banged up a little bit, too, in his career. But I like their opportunities more than Kittle.
Kittle's drafting of Kittle last year set one of my team 6 feet under right out of the gate. The team was no longer good at all because of Kittle.
I'll get beyond that. I mean, I'm not going to base it on last year. I'm going to base it on what I think.
But you should also get a good backup if you get that guy.
Get a good backup if you get Kittle. I mean, I think, I don't know. I think he's getting overdrafted a little bit. I think if you can't get Waller and Kelsey in their first 2-3 rounds, you could wait for Kittle. Just wait. Somebody will overdraft him because this is another thing we should talk about really quick. When people start drafting tight ends or kickers or quarterbacks, don't get caught up in the wave, though. Yeah. Everybody's like,
if you're next to it, that's one thing. But if you're 7 picks down,
calm down. Yeah. There's plenty of good players for everyone. Don't get caught. Don't overdraft a player because you think you got to get a tight end when everybody else is picking a tight end.
It is fun when you're the guy that starts the race, doesn't it? Because to me, each one of those picks are meaningless to me. I don't need that one. That's not even a player. Not even a player. Not even a player.
Because I've already got my tight end.
You
guys are wasting picks giving me more good players than my come around.
Both my drafts, I was the defensive guy. I took Baltimore. I'm not kidding. Tampa Bay's D went in like the 7th round with Harrison Butker back there. He took them both. I'm taking Harrison Butker and Tampa's D. I'm not kidding you. The number 1 guy who got Dobbins in the 2nd and McCaffrey the 1st, of course. No. He took Dalvin Cook. He even passed on McCaffrey the 1st pick.
We've talked. Of course, our tip is again defensive kicker last 2 rounds. Thank you.
I was the 9th pick out of 10. I take Baltimore's D. The 10th guy takes Rams D. And then going by 6 or 7 Ds right there.
Oh, wow.
And then it was great. It was a very exciting
thing. I got Kittle a little bit lower than you, but then how does yours go down after?
All right, I got Andrews next. I don't like it. Then I got Font, Logan Thomas, Tunyon, and Gesicki.
Well, it gets back to what I talked about. I got Tanyan out of my top 10.
You said that. Can't get 9 touchdowns, whatever it was. How many did?
Sorry. I got, even though he's looked good, I think he's not going to get the touchdowns. So I got Higbee. I got
no Higbee. I'm not Higbee. I'm not with Higbee.
I got Higbee.
I hear you. I understand.
Stafford.
I understand.
I got Andrews. I got Logan Thomas because I think
he's
the number 2 right behind Scary Terry. And then I got Noah Fant, and then my sleeper, Gerald Everett from Seattle.
Oh my gosh!
I mean,
both of the Rams guys.
Oh no!
Wow.
Seattle.
Well, I mean, he used to be on.
Yes, but I think he's going to have a big role in Seattle. They've been talking him up. The coach has been talking him up. The OC's been talking up. Russell Wilson was talking him up. And they're all talking about how he's getting open. He's that third guy that they need with that Lockett and Metcalf. We talked about the inconsistency of Lockett. I think Everett will be one of the top waiver picks that first week when he breaks out a little bit.
Well, I think we leave it right there. That's some brilliant stuff right there,
Hopefully.
Huh? Well, hopefully.
I think it is.
All right, guys. Well, this is next week. Next week's next week. So you should have your team.
Next week we will be talking
week 1.
Week 1. The next day will be the opening day.
So what should we do? Let's talk, because usually on Wednesdays going forward, it's going to be a lot of waiver wire talk, Keeler's keys, because some of those guys are waivers you're going to want to pick up as well.
Well, we'll talk that next week. We'll talk
Keeler's keys for sure, but we won't talk waivers. We'll find something to talk about. But we're going to give you an hour on Wednesday live right here, and then we're going to give you an hour on Thursday on tape. So you're going to watch an hour on Wednesday, an hour on Thursday, 6 to 7, right in front of that first opening ball game.
Yes.
It's Tampa versus Dallas. America's quarterback versus America's team.
Yeah, we'll give you our picks for the week.
Yeah, we'll give you our picks there.
Maybe give you some tips on making some matchups. Some
right.
matchups that we like in game 1, the first week. Like either ors on matchups, So
we bring the lumber, baby. Hey, thanks for sticking around. Be sure to tell folks about us. We're on YouTube under Behind the Lines FF YouTube page. We're here again Wednesdays. I post stuff during the week sometime. If you got questions, we got answers. Robert, great job. Hey, have a great draft. I hope you knock them out of the park. I want to hear everything.
I will bring the team in next week. We win.
I'm one of the guys that doesn't mind talking about your draft. I'm serious. All right, guys. Good night.
See you later.